In today's video, I'm going to teach you the 4 weak habits that turn women totally off. And you might be wondering, okay, why should I listen to Eugene? Great question. Because first of all, I've successfully coached over 200 men and helped them attract an abundance of high quality women, as well as high quality relationships. Second, I'm handsome as fuck. Third, I've been with several hundreds of women. I've studied female nature for the last 12 years. And currently I'm in an amazing 5-year relationship with my girlfriend, Sandra, who has followed me anywhere I went, no questions asked, and does my meal prep. Okay, enough dick swinging now. Let's get into the video, man. Habit number 1 that will make you look weak and will turn her off is when you fail her shit tests. A lot of guys have a negative association and stigma around shit tests, but shit tests are actually an amazing sign. When a woman starts shit testing you, that means she's checking whether or not you are a sexual viable option for her. If she doesn't test you, she doesn't even see you as an option, bro. Think of shit tests as the gatekeeper to something special. So let's say that special thing is the club, right? It's an exclusive club. And at the doors of the club, there's a bouncer making sure that only high quality people enter that club. And the bouncer will check if you match the standard of the people they want inside of the club. Club obviously representing the feminine energy of that woman that you're dating. And the bouncer is essentially her subconscious that throws tests at you. And the reason why she throws tests at you, because of course you can always say like, yeah, I'm the guy, you can trust me, yada, 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 yada. But actions matter more than words. So she's going to apply some pressure because only when we're under pressure, we will reveal our true self. The amazing thing about shit tests is that they're binary. You either fail or pass them. And it doesn't matter if you pass them with an A+ or a C-. All that matters is that you actually just pass them. What does passing look like and what does failing look like in a shit test? So let me give you a quick story. On the date with the Spanish girl, she threw a couple of shit tests on my way. One of them was hitting me on the arm when I teased her, which I didn't like. In that moment, I could have become reactive, defensive, or didn't say anything. Those would have been surefire ways to fucking fail the shit test. Those would have been all Kevin responses, yeah? Now, the way I passed the first level of the shit test was by saying, hey, I don't appreciate that, so please do not do that again. Now, guess what she did? The next time I made a joke about her or like teased her playfully, guess what she did? Bam, hit me again. That was another shit test. Why did she test me again? Because my first response was a bit soft. And in that moment, she wasn't convinced that I actually am masculine enough, man enough to tell her, stop fucking doing this. And guess what I did? I looked at her, I looked into her eyes, and I told her, hey, do not ever do this again, or I am walking away. With a smirk. I didn't convey that I was angry. I didn't convey that I lost my shit. All I conveyed and demonstrated in that moment was, I am respecting myself enough to just say, I'm walking away if you don't stop doing this because I have other options I can entertain. That's what it conveyed and demonstrated. And that was a surefire way to pass the test. And she told me that this turned her on. How do I know that? Because I fucked her that night. And she told me, you know what turned me on the most? When you put me in my place. So a couple of other examples of shit tests on the date are questions like, hey, why are you still single? Or are you seeing other girls? A weak way, a Kevin way to respond to those questions would be trying to explain yourself, such as like, oh, I don't know why I'm still single. Oh, of course I'm not seeing any other girls. Those would convey weakness because first of all, it shows that you don't have any other options, which makes you more unattractive. And second, it's quite a logical response, which is also boring. And both ruin attraction. Habit number 2 that makes you look unattractive as fuck is when your conversations are emotionally flat. 95% of my guys that come to me are hyper successful, smart, analytical. And while that is great for their career, it is their downfall in dating because they go on a date and they're stuck in their logical, analytical mindset. That means on dates, their responses sound a bit more like a documentary rather than a story. So what do I mean by that? So for instance, when she asks you, hey, what did you do for the weekend? Or what is your job? What exactly do you do? A lot of guys will start documenting what they're doing and what they've done over the weekend, which means they list fact after fact after fact. And that is boring. Let me give you an example. So a girl asks you, so what did you do on the weekend? And most guys' response will sound like this. I went to the gym, I met up with friends, I did some reading, I watched an amazing movie, Mission Impossible, for instance, and actually I also worked on my business. It is a total Kevin response because you just documented what you did, but it lacked energy, it lacked passion, it lacked emotions, and it was just a chronological, analytical, logical sequence of events. Let me show you actually how you could respond to the same question in a telling way that makes her actually totally attracted to you, because no one ever has bonded over facts, bro. We bond over emotions, not boring ass fucking documentaries and facts, okay? When she asks you, oh, so what did you do on the weekend? Here's how you could respond in the Hercules storytelling way. Oh, you don't believe it. Like, actually, like, I had the craziest weekend. I had so much fucking fun. So first of all, I watched this new movie, Mission Impossible. Have you seen that movie? Like, it's a fucking banger. Let's see if she responds, blah, blah. And I'm sure if you've watched Mission Impossible, but for me, there is so much childhood memories attached to this. And I totally love Tom Cruise as an actor. This guy is brilliant. The kind of stunts he pulls off, fucking epic. Do you notice the total difference in response to the same single question? I am telling what I did on the weekend, and I attached a deeper meaning to what I did, rather than just stating fact after fact after fact that makes you look fucking boring. The goal of a good conversation is to be entertaining and fun. Now, man, if you want to become a great conversationalist and you want to finally attract high quality women, because you're tired of spending Sunday evenings by yourself, then I would love to work with you. Click the link in the description and join my mentorship. Habit number 3 that makes you look totally unattractive is a non-exclusive frame. So think of a frame as a castle, and you're the king, which means the ruler of that castle. And you decide who can enter and who is not allowed to enter. Now, a lot of guys, no matter how successful they are, they often convey a Kevin castle, which is a non-exclusive castle, meaning anyone can enter. Anyone can become the queen, not the king. You might be wondering, okay, how do men convey this Kevin kind of castle? Well, by being needy. A lot of guys, they turn into the shadow of themselves after date 1 or 2. They start being instantly available. They start treating any girl they've met like a fucking queen, like a fucking girlfriend. They invite them for dinner. They give them flowers. They shower them with love. They shower them with attention and validation, only because she's beautiful, only because she gives them attention. You know what it conveys to a high quality woman? That you do not have any other options, that it isn't special to be a queen by your side. Do you think a high quality woman that has tons of options would want to be with a guy that acts like a Kevin, that has no standards, and that actually anyone can be with? No, man, because it just doesn't make her feel special. So how do you convey that you have a Hercules frame and that you are exclusive? How do you convey a Hercules frame, so an exclusive kind of frame? You start making requests and you sprinkle them into the conversations, either on a date or like throughout texting conversations. You start qualifying her. Because a lot of guys, they end up being a Kevin and qualifying themselves to a woman. But someone who has tons of options wouldn't need to qualify themselves to someone else. In conversations and on dates, I want you to start qualifying her. And you do that by sprinkling in like certain tests for her. You could send her like a text saying, hey, I would like to hear your sexy voice or whatever. And if she then sends a voice note, bam, she qualified herself to you. If she doesn't do this, that means she doesn't see you as a Hercules at the moment. She sees you more as a Kevin because she doesn't want to put in the effort. It means you then take back some of your your attention. Or you can say things like, oh yeah, I actually like girls that are fit, ambitious, and I have a weakness for girls that are like smart. That conveys that you have standards. And if she starts saying like, oh yeah, I love hitting the gym, I love doing X, Y, Z, blah, 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 and lists things and activities that are related to what you just talked about as being your standard, again, that makes you come across exclusive, and she actually starts being more invested into you. Number 4 that makes you look totally unattractive, and it is something that 99% of dating coaches never even talk about because they have no fucking clue, because they are way too superficial, and that is called one-dimensional masculinity. Think of masculinity as ice cream, and ice cream has a spectrum of flavors. Chocolate, vanilla, strawberry, God forbid, chocolate mint. Who the fuck eats that? Yeah, but you get my point. A lot of guys, however, when they show up to dates, they only show their chocolate flavor or their vanilla flavor, instead of showing and demonstrating all 4 flavors that they have inside of them. They don't show them because they are unaware they actually possess these kind of flavors inside of them, or they're too insecure to present their authentic self actually. So how does this look like in real life on a date? So a lot of guys, they're just maybe a bit too empathetic and they're a bit too soft on a date, so they never disagree with a woman on a date. They are like too afraid to speak their true mind, or they are potentially just too charismatic. Yeah, what do I mean by that? They're just focusing on gamifying the entire conversation, They're trying to crack jokes. They're essentially turning into a clown on a date. Right? Stay superficial. There's no emotional depth to the date. Yeah, it's always about like bantering, but there's never a question about like, okay, what makes your heart sing? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? What would be your ideal weekend? Yeah, those kind of questions are soft and build a deeper connection with a woman. But again, a lot of guys, they choose to be either or instead of all of them. And that makes you look unattractive because you're just like any other guy. Because 99% of guys are incapable of being this well-rounded masculine guy, right? This Hercules, as I call him. If you behave like 99% of men, the Kevins, then of course you're not going to stand out. Of course you're going to get ghosted because you're just another option that is uninteresting and boring. You're ordinary. Because if you think about women, they get pursued in dating and they have all the options. And women want to experience all the flavors of ice cream, just like you, man. Like you get tired of just one single flavor of ice cream over time. The same applies for you with women. Like, I'm actually sure you have never truly thought about it, but you don't want like a feminine woman only that is just soft and nurturing. You want more from her. You want her to be a freak in the bed as well. You want her to be like a bit of a sex goddess. You also want her to be a bit funny and maybe a bit adventurous, right? So you are also looking for different flavors in a woman. That means you should integrate all 4 masculine flavors that you have inside of you to make you the guy, the 1% guy, the Hercules. That's the kind of guy everyone wants to be with. If you're the kind of guy who's a bit more empathetic and soft on a date and you want to learn how to become more charismatic and leading, one way that I would suggest to become more charismatic or convey and demonstrate that you're charismatic is just be more playful. For instance, if she says like, hey, so what do you do for work? You can, instead of just responding that you do XYZ, you're a software developer, and mentioning your title, you could just respond with a question and say like, hey, are you working at the FBI or are you trying to suss me out or what's going on here? With a smirk. Bam, that's way more playful, a bit more charismatic. On the date, if you want to lead more on a date, like help her in the chair, take off her jacket, and like help her order a drink. Like those are micro things that will make a huge difference. Of course, there's more to it, and I'm happy to teach you that in my mentorship, but this should cover the basics, man. With that being said, man, if you want me to help you attract more high-quality women and become the guy, 1% Hercules, why don't you join my mentorship? Link is in the description. Ciao, ciao.